This house, unassuming, quiet, tucked away on a tree-lined street, became the center of a family storm. Not because of loud arguments or police calls. No, this conflict was quieter, more subtle, but just as intense. 3 months earlier, Mama Lucille, the woman who raised Yo Gotti, who stood by him through every struggle, every mixtape, every late-night studio session, had undergone hip surgery. She needed time to heal, rest, support. So when her cousin Angela offered to take her in, it seemed like the perfect solution. A safe place, a peaceful environment, family helping family. At first, everything was fine. Angela gave up her guest room. She cooked light meals. She made sure Mama took her meds on time. But slowly, things began to shift. What started as care began to feel more like control. What was meant to be a temporary stay started to feel permanent. And the woman Yo Gotti knew as his mother, strong, grounded, full of laughter and down-home wisdom, began to change in ways he couldn't quite put his finger on. Now let's talk about Angela. She's not a villain. She genuinely believed she was helping. But Angela is what you might call a wellness enthusiast. She's into crystals, energy cleansing, plant-based living, and spiritual retreats. She meditates at dawn. She drinks moon-charged water. She refers to Wi-Fi as vibrational interference. And over those 3 months, she began to reshape Mama's world, not out of malice, but out of belief. She replaced gospel music with Tibetan singing bowls, swapped out collard greens for kale smoothies, even encouraged Mama to adopt a new name, Linda, because Lucille carries ancestral weight. Mama started waking up at 5 a.m. for breathwork. She began journaling affirmations like, "I release the pain of my grandmother's choices." She stopped attending her church, the same one where she'd sung in the choir for 40 years, and instead joined Sunday energy circles where people held hands and visualized universal light. She was no longer just recovering from surgery. She was being spiritually repackaged. And Yo Gotti? He noticed. It wasn't one big moment. It was 1,000 small ones. Her voice sounded different on the phone. She didn't laugh as much. When he asked how she was feeling, she didn't say, "I'm good, baby." She said, "I'm aligning with my higher self." She didn't talk about her neighbors or her cat anymore. She talked about chakras, about releasing generational trauma. And when he asked if she wanted to come home for a weekend visit, she said she wasn't ready. She was still in the process of inner recalibration. That's when it hit him. His mother wasn't healing. She was being reshaped. And the woman who raised him, the one who taught him how to season meat, how to speak with respect, how to stand tall no matter what, was slowly fading into someone he didn't recognize. So he did what any son who loves his mother would do. He didn't post about it. He didn't make a scene. He didn't call the media. He just got in his car, packed a suitcase with the things that reminded her of home, her favorite leopard print slippers, a photo album filled with family memories, a container of her beloved peach cobbler from the bakery she loved, and yes, a fresh batch of buttermilk biscuits with honey butter. And he drove. 3 hours, no announcement, no warning, just a mission. When he pulled up to Angela's house, it was just after 8 p.m. The street was quiet. A few porch lights flickered on. And as he stepped out of the car, you could feel the weight of the moment. This wasn't a celebrity drop-by. This was a son reclaiming his mother. He didn't bang on the door. He didn't yell. He just stood there, suitcase in hand, waiting. When she saw him, something shifted in her eyes. It was like a switch flipped. The calm, detached Linda persona melted away. And, for the first time in months, Mama Lucille looked like herself. She didn't say much. She didn't need to. She just walked toward him, arms open, and he held her like he was holding onto a piece of home he almost lost. There were no dramatic speeches, no confrontations with Angela. She stood in the doorway, stunned, watching as the woman she had been guiding for months simply walked away, not out of anger, not out of disrespect, but out of remembrance. Mama remembered who she was, and she remembered where she belonged. They didn't stay long. Yo Gotti helped her pack a few things, not everything, just what mattered. Her Bible, her church fan, a photo of her late husband. And that's when Angela finally spoke, not to stop them, but to ask, "Are you sure this is what you want?" And Mama, without hesitation, said yes. Not in a loud voice, not with anger, but with quiet certainty. Because sometimes healing doesn't happen in silence and crystals. Sometimes healing happens in the kitchen, at the dinner table, in the arms of the people who've known you your whole life. The drive home was quiet. Mama fell asleep halfway, wrapped in the quilt she'd made years ago. Yo Gotti kept one hand on the wheel, the other resting on hers. No music. No distractions. Just peace. And when they pulled into the driveway of the house she'd lived in for over 30 years, she smiled, the first real smile in months. The next morning, she called her church group. She fired up her old oven, and she made a triple batch of biscuits. Neighbors came by. Family checked in. And Yo Gotti posted a simple photo on Instagram, a plate of golden, buttery biscuits with the "Home is where the heart is, and Mama's heart is right here." However, 3 months ago, Mama Lucille, Yo Gotti's beloved mother, had minor surgery and needed a place to recover. With Yo Gotti constantly on the road between Memphis, LA, and New York for music, business, and label duties, he reached out to family friends for support. That's when Angela Simmons stepped in. Daughter of Reverend Run, entrepreneur, wellness advocate, and longtime friend of the hip-hop community, Angela offered her guests sweet, peace, and care. It seemed like the perfect solution. A safe space, a healing environment, no stress, no drama, or so everyone thought. At first, it was calm. Mama Lucille adjusted to the quiet. Angela cooked light meals, played soft music, and made sure she had everything she needed. But behind the scenes, tension was building. Not between Angela and Mama Lucille. No, this tension came from outside. From the world of rap beefs, social media clapbacks, and unspoken grudges. And at the center of it all, Glorilla. Now you know the story. Last year, during the height of the Memphis rap scene's resurgence, things got heated between Yo Gotti and Glorilla. Not because of music, but because of loyalty. Glorilla, once seen as part of the CMG family, began aligning with other camps. Then came the interviews, the subtle disses, the social media posts that seemed innocent, but everyone knew had deeper meaning. And when Yo Gotti responded, not with violence, but with silence and distance, the message was clear. The bond was broken. But here's what most people don't know. Angela Simmons, she was caught in the crossfire. Not because she's in the rap game, but because she speaks up. And last month, during a podcast appearance, she made a comment about Glorilla's rise being sudden and questioned whether her success was built on real artistry or just controversy. It wasn't a direct attack. But in the world of hip-hop, that's a shot across the bow. And Glorilla? She responded, not to Angela, but on Instagram Live. She didn't name her. But she said things like, "Some reality stars think they run the culture, and just because you wear crystals don't mean you can't get slapped." The internet exploded. Fans connected the dots. And Angela Simmons found herself in the middle of a rap war she never signed up for. After that, things got weird. Angela said her DMs were flooded with threats. Her events were protested online. Even her skincare brand, Pastry, saw negative comments from fans accusing her of hating on Black women in music. She didn't respond. She didn't escalate. But privately, she was shaken. And when Mama Lucille mentioned that Yo Gotti wanted her to come home, back to Memphis, back to the same city where Glorilla is based, alarm bells went off. Because here's the thing Angela couldn't shake. If Mama Lucille goes back to Memphis, and if Yo Gotti is seen with her publicly, that ties Angela directly back to the situation. By association, by location, by family. And in the world of rap drama, association is enough. She feared that if Mama returned home under Yo Gotti's care, Glorilla or her circle might see it as a provocation, or worse, use it as an excuse to come after her again. And this time, it wouldn't be online. It could be real. So when Yo Gotti arrived that night, dressed casually, suitcase in hand, ready to take his mom home, Angela didn't greet him with warmth. She met him at the door, calm, collected, but firm. She didn't yell. She didn't accuse. She simply said that Mama Lucille wasn't ready to leave, and that bringing her back to Memphis under current tensions would put everyone at risk, especially her. He was stunned. This wasn't about health. It wasn't about recovery. It was about fear. Fear of drama. Fear of retaliation. Fear of becoming a target again. And in that moment, Yo Gotti realized this wasn't just about his mom. It was about the invisible web of celebrity, loyalty, and social media warfare that now governs even the most personal decisions. Now, let's be clear, there's no evidence Glorilla has ever threatened Angela personally. No police reports. No direct confrontations. But in today's culture, perception is power. And when you're a public figure, sometimes the idea of a threat is enough to change your behavior. Angela wasn't trying to keep Mama Lucille hostage. She wasn't trying to control her. She genuinely believed she was protecting her and herself from being pulled into a storm that didn't belong to them. But from Yo Gotti's side, it looked like overreach. His mother had been healing for months. She missed home. She missed her church. She missed her cat. And now, the only thing standing between her and freedom was a fear of someone who hadn't even mentioned her in weeks. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Why didn't she just leave earlier? Why didn't Yo Gotti intervene sooner? And those are fair questions. But the truth is, situations like this don't always start with red flags. They start with good intentions, with someone offering help, and over time, boundaries blur. Identity shifts. And before you know it, you're not just healing, you're being remade in someone else's image. This story isn't really about Angela. It's not even just about Yo Gotti. It's about us. About how easy it is to lose yourself, even in the name of healing. And how powerful it is when someone who loves you sees that and does something about it. Because Yo Gotti didn't come with an army. He didn't come with lawyers or threats. He came with a suitcase, a full tank of gas, and the unshakable belief that his mother belonged with her family. That she didn't need to be fixed. She didn't need to be upgraded. She just needed to be herself, in her house, with her people, eating the food that reminds her of love. So if you're watching this and you've ever felt like you're losing a piece of yourself, whether it's in a relationship, a job, or even a well-meaning environment, know this: it's okay to go back. It's okay to say, this isn't me. And if you're the person who sees someone you love drifting away, don't wait. Show up, quietly, lovingly, and bring them home. Mama Lucille is back in her house, back at church, back to making biscuits that heal the soul. And Yo Gotti, he didn't make a song about it. He didn't turn it into a brand. He just did what a son does. And sometimes, that's the most powerful thing of all.